Lesson 9.1, fractions as multiples of unit fractions. So Kelly and Mara were working on their math homework, and Kelly wrote 3/4 as 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. Mara looked at it and said, I think you could use multiplication to rewrite that sum. Do you agree with Mara? So before we look at that, I want to look at 2 plus 2 plus 2. What is 2 plus 2 plus 2? 6. Now, how can I write that as a multiplication problem? Well, I know I'm starting off with 2, and how many 2's do I have? 1, 2, 3. So that's times 3, which also gives me 6. So keeping this in mind, let's look at that. So we have 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. That gives me 3/4. So how can I do the same thing? How can I take it from adding and bring it into multiplying? Well, we have 1/4, and how many of them do we have? 3, which gives me 3/4. So let's look at the bottom part. How can you rewrite 4/5 using addition and using multiplication? So we can do 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5, and that gives us 4/5. We can also say we have 1, 2, 3, 4 times 1/5 gives us 4/5. And that's it. So let's look at some problems. So we have 2/3. Well, we know we are looking at what the multiplication is going to be. And it's almost like we're decomposing numbers, kind of like what we've been doing. So we can take this and we can say, okay, that's 1/3 and 1/3. Well, how many thirds is that? That's 2 1/3. And that's it. So you can kind of choose to break it apart if you need to, or you can rewrite it if you need to. Some of us can just kind of look at it and see. So here we have 5, 6. Well, we know that's 5 groups of what? Of 1/6. This was 2 groups of 1/3. So keep in mind that multiplication also means groups, and that'll kind of help you keep in mind of what you're doing. So here we have 3 halves. Okay, so how many groups are we going to have? So when we're looking at our fractions, our top number is also going to be groups, and our bottom number is going to be pieces. So we have 3 groups of what pieces? Of 1/2 pieces. If we're doing it in multiplication form, then you're always going to have the unit fraction be your piece on the side here. And all a unit fraction means is that you have that 1 up top. It's 1 unit. All right, 6/5. I'm going to give you a second to try on your own. It's 6 groups of 1/5. All right, 2/9. Try that one. Two groups of 1/9. All right, 10/7. Try that one. Ten groups of 1/7. So we're just taking the top piece, and that's your groups, and then you're looking at your unit fraction piece. Let's look at a word problem. So we have number 25 here, and it says, write an equation that describes the picture. Each pair part is 1/2 of a pair. Show your answer as multiplication equation with a unit fraction as a factor. So it tells us that each of these pieces are 1/2. So we have 1/2, and we can add, but it wants it done as multiplication, times how many groups? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So how many pieces is that? What's my answer going to look like? Well, it could be 6/2, of course, but that's going to need to be simplified down. When if we look at the picture, if I have 1/2 plus 1/2, that is a whole. So there's 1 whole, 2 whole, 3 wholes. So we know that also is going to equal 3 wholes.